Another game from Team 4545 League. These players use more of their time, but we'll see more as we go. It's important you take your time. You've got to analyze and evaluate and plan. Okay, so we have the Italian game again, and this should be interesting. The best move for black is to play knight f6 and allow d4. There's a slower defensive scheme with queen e7, but we'll see what he chooses. I think this is the scheme I was talking about. Now he doesn't go that way. Now, but this seems to be a blunder. And the reason is white's either going to A, deprive black of castling, or B, win a pawn if he takes on d4. So let's just think of that before we go. If we take here, black must take back or he's going to drop a pawn to another pawn capture, okay? So if black takes with the pawn, white can play queen takes queen check. And if black takes with the knight, the pawn on e5 falls. If he takes with the king, he can't castle. Now it would be a mistake to take with the knight. First off, let's see if white does take. He does. Now, it would be a mistake to take with the knight here, because what we're going to see is this king is overloaded. He's overworked. Now we would take, and now if we want, we could take this queen with check, and here's the overloaded king, and then we pick this off, right? But let's do it the reverse order.
Check.
Let's take this, and then up, and so black can't lose his queen, right? He would have to stop and play here. Now we go here.
Check.
And we reach the same position we would have, except it's white's move. So let's see what happens. So he did take with, wait. I guess he did take the wrong way. This is a mistake. So white has bishop takes f7 check.
Check.
But he missed it. So he lost, you could have gained one tempo with bishop takes. This is a theme I've been seeing for years that happens a lot. You'd be surprised how often this happens. So you did win a pawn, but it's black to play here. Okay, do it my way. You gain a tempo.
Check.
See, he has to come up, and now this check doesn't work.
Check.
You could do it if you want, make him play here, but now when you take the queen,
check.
He's able to get this rook on the open file, and after you retreat your bishop to safety, he can, in effect, castle by hand. Okay, so
check.
White did win a pawn. Okay, so now we have to take care of business here. Probably the safest move is f3. Knight d2 works, but it shuts your bishop in. And that works too. Didn't see that one right away. Pin the knight. Now the knight's still pinned, but we have to save the bishop. And he does. Now, here white should bring his knight out or castle. One or the other. Got to take care of development. Now, here I would consider retreating, because if he kicks again, suddenly this bishop becomes a little aggressive. It's coordinating an attack on the e5 square. So I would retreat here.
Check.
Okay, this is playable, but this would be a stronger move. We want black to do this. Now black is thrown on the defensive. How is he going to defend that pawn? Okay. He can do here and shut his bishop in. And now if we want, we can play either one of these knight moves. Let's go here. Now black has to be careful. How's he going to defend this pawn? If he puts his king on e6, he walks into a discovered check. If he puts his king on f6, if white wants, he can just take the bishop pair, but I wouldn't bother with that. I would consider castling long here, and black is very cramped. He can't move his knight on d7 without losing his pawn on e5. He needs to move his knight on d7 to develop his bishop. How else can he develop that bishop? Well, he's got to get his bishop on b6 out of the way so they can move his b pawn, but then he still can't develop his bishop because his knight is loose. Amazing, huh? So bishop h4 was a better move. Now, we don't know if he's going to do this or not, but we're ready to meet it. So let's back this up.
Check.
Well, you took 3 minutes, okay? Your clock went down, almost 4 minutes. So one thing I told my students, I said, I don't care if you play a bad move if you took your time, because we'll help you find the good move, okay? Because you have a chance to find the best move if you take your time. You have to luck into it if you don't take your time. So this is fine, but next time, keep this maneuver in mind, that we can just retreat the bishop and develop some activity against this e5 pawn.
Check.
Okay, now it would probably have been better to take with the rook, because this rook can't use the g file. There's a bishop blocking it, at least right now. And trades are only going to help white. He's a pawn up, and he'll just reach a winning ending. Okay, so this does restrict this bishop. It does, if white's plan is to castle queenside, it does keep it safe. But in this position, it was perfectly okay just to castle kingside and expedite getting these rooks into play, okay? The move is fine, but castling kingside is a little bit stronger. Now, a trade is good for white, and he does. Now, here I wouldn't necessarily castle. I would bring the king up to e2, keep him towards the center. But he had his mind made up on castling. But, this is... And I don't know if the pin does much. You can just break it. The more trades, the simpler the win is for white here. So let's break that pin. Pins are a nuisance. Okay, that weakens this square, but black can't really take advantage of it. When you move pawns, always consider what square did you weaken. Now, forcing for white, black can't attack that square. Okay, let's see what happens. So he's going to try to advance the pawn up here and maybe create a weakness over here. There, good, he broke the pin. Okay, this is very... I don't know, let's see. If black takes... and then takes again, white's going to get his passed pawn. I don't know. Black might be winning his pawn back here. Let's see. Well, that won't do it. Let's take here. Okay. Unless white takes back, he's going to lose his pawn back. Black will just take on g3. And we can't take with the rook because we would lose the exchange. So we take back here. Now comes this check. Oh, it's not a check, but we're uncovering an attack on this pawn. For the moment, black has his pawn back. And now he solved his issues, and we have a struggle on our hands. Black may even be slightly better simply because he has the bishop, and the bishop is stronger than the knight when there's pawns on both sides of the board. So let's see how much time black took on that move. Let's see. Well, again, he took 16. He took a minute, barely over a minute. See, no, wait, more than that. His clock goes down by a minute and 6 seconds. So he took a minute. He about took the right time. But I want to note, again, we'll look at the thing. We're not in time pressure here. If you took 40 moves in 75 minutes, would mean you should have about, in move 20, you should have about 22 minutes on your clock. So theoretically, you could stop and take 11 minutes at some point. But black missed a chance to win his pawn back. Okay. So looks like maybe the same thing is true again. Let's see. Well, now he has discoveries, but the king is on that file. Now this pawn would be pinned. So if you take here first,
Check.
there's a discovery here. But I don't know. This pawn is still in danger. You know, king here, and I don't know if we can trap that king
Check.
or not. We could just go back, and this is undefended. Or maybe, oops, hit the wrong one. 1 second, I'll fix that. Okay, let's see. A little too far. So black is just playing defense on it instead of trying to be the aggressor. But this rook on the file is helping white a lot.
Check.
White just drops this pawn. Okay, so I would say at this stage, the game is probably even. White can get an outside pass pawn, but black's king is very active. So, and black's pass pawn is a little more deep. But sometimes you can be inferior in a king and pawn ending and still holding a draw. You can even be a pawn down. Okay, let's go forward and see what happens.
Check.
Now, maybe it would have been better for white to have cut him off the 7th rank by playing rook e2.
Check.
Now white is losing a pawn or has to trade rooks. So now the question is, should black trade rooks? And my first inclination is no. The reason being white can create the outside pass pawn. So he agrees with me and goes this way. And white seems happy to trade rooks. And now he obliges. So I would say if anyone's winning this now, it's white, simply because of the threat of making an outside pass pawn. I don't think black can penetrate with his king quick enough. Although maybe with e3 he could. Let's see if he plays e3. Yeah. And now king e4. Okay, so very interesting position. You know, white can't move his king, or that king, or the black king is penetrating. But white has one trump card up his sleeve, and that's to create the outside pass pawn. And here he's going to run out. He's weakening his pawns. This king may later come in this way. Let's look at my idea. Okay, now I'm just going to make a move for black. Now I'm going to make another move for black. Now I'm going to get this pawn running. And now maybe the white king is penetrating. Now you say, well, you could have had this pawn here. Well, you know, the king's penetrating this way. So I think white's probably better with h3. Now I found it, and there it comes. Now this is a serious error but I think black is still losing this. But this just makes this pawn a little more dangerous. Let's see. Maybe it's not so bad. Let's see. White's going to have to sacrifice this pawn at some point and go after these. And black's idea is he's keeping the pawn on the board so his king can later capture on h3. Let's see if that's what happens. Okay. So what's the result here? Black should activate his king. Now, one way we can do things is we can count without having to go, I go here, he goes there. All right, watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. White could get a queen in 11 moves. Black could get one, I think, quicker. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe White should play to try to win this pawn, and I think he can. But it's Black's move. Let's see what Black does. Okay, this. Now here we want to try to win this pawn with this move. Let's see what happened. That's what happened. Now eventually we're going to chase him out of this. Black will run out of pawn moves at some point. So I just had an idea here. No, never mind. Now Black is running out of pawn moves. Now, maybe it's different. White can go after these pawns now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So not yet. But now he has a direct beeline to win this pawn. Now here, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Very interesting. Okay, so he's going after this pawn. And now the battle lines are drawn. So Black is going to queen 2 here. But there's one critical difference. Maybe, let's see, maybe there's still one more critical difference here. Black should probably put his king here on g3. We'll see why in a moment.
Check.
Because now White trades queens and wins the last pawn. So king g2, it looks natural. Okay, this move looks natural, but it walked into the trap that White's able to trade queens. So let's back this up. King g3, push. Queen, queen. Now it's White to play. Now I know from experience that if you just have the queen and the rook pawn, it's a draw. This rook pawn isn't strong enough. So unless White can force a way to trade queens, White's going to have to rely on a black mistake to win this. It is a theoretical draw. So the question is, when was it looked like White was on the edge of winning? When did it change? Okay, let's see. Let's go back a couple more. Okay, so Black to play went here, and White went here. Now let's count this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this appears to be a draw. I was thinking White was better and had winning chances. I could be wrong. Let's back this up. Okay, so maybe White should have waited to run this. See, it is a protected pass pawn. Instead of running it now, let's run it later. Okay. So there's an important thing here. I'll show you what I mean. Now white will run out of pawn moves at some point, and there's, just for an example, this line. Now white must yield. But the problem is black can't come in this way because, or the other way. Well, I guess he could go the other way. Let me show you. He could go this way because he's threatening to go here. This would force white to come back, right? Because if white runs his pawn here, black is going to get a queen first. Check.
Check.
And queen, and this guy's falling short. So, but the other thing, he can't come here because now here black is not so fortunate. He's not going to escort this pawn in. I mean, he can try it.
Check.
And go after this one, but this isn't enough. And now white just plays this move, and black must lose his H pawn. So it was very tricky. Now let's see. Let me go forward again. So the critical error was when he played King G2, and let's look at the time on it. Okay, 1728, 1826. See, he spent 7 seconds on the move, which means he didn't think. Now, he may have thought, or maybe he took some time shortly before that and thought he had everything planned out. Maybe white was taking his time at some point. Doesn't appear like he was all that much. And maybe black just assumed everything he'd seen earlier was still true. I can't speak for the players. But my point is, you have time on the clock. And, that's the issue. You guys got to learn to slow down. All right, we don't want to lose. You can win. You can win more games if you'll slow down. If you'll have more fun. Your team will have more fun. Okay, it's just better for chess. All right, I want to thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.